Alright. We are back. We are back on Twitch. We've got everything going. Everything's perfect. We got all the kinks out of the way. It's going to be smooth sailing from here on out.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Real quick, can you guys hear this? Hold on.
Hear what?
I saw Dawson shaking his head, so I know you can hear it.
I'm kidding. I heard it.
I know you don't like that, so I'll play this. How about this?
Question of the week.
Question of the week. Your answers we seek. Question of the week. Movies.
Alright. Did some dude stick around? Some dude? You still here? Hopefully you are. Hopefully the
question
technical...
of the week is going to be this week.
I don't know. We'll find out together. That's the fun of it.
Can you just draw from the card like random?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. We'll find out.
I missed that trivia game we played.
Me too. Me too. But you know what happened, right?
I won. I kicked all that ass.
Wait. Hold up. I got the score sheet somewhere, right? Hold on. Where'd it go? Someone deleted the evidence.
Oh, I'm sure we could go back and look it up. But I did win that shit.
You did not win that shit. Who's gonna go look that up?
Shit.
Who put a middle finger in the master doc on the news page?
Who did that?
That's uncouth. All right.
You know what I should do before we get started? Check the virtual private network or premium network or whatever.
Why?
Just see if Tenet is on there.
I mean, if you would like to, go for it.
Let me not do that.
But we need to get started.
It's not something we promote. Yeah,
we need to go.
Started.
We need to fly.
All right, 3, 2. It's Rob and Brent and my Reggie dude, and don't forget it also features Dawson too. We gonna give you all the dope reviews, but first we'll hit on all the movie news. Cha-ching, cha-ching, box office due. In between the news and the reviews, there's not a lot that we don't do, so turn the volume up, cause we coming through. Put your headphones on and tie your shoes. Jackman and Grant, we got all the views. We're like Brando in Godfather 2. We're gonna make a podcast you can't refuse. This is the CinemaChat podcast, and we know a lot about movies. Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's another episode of CinemaChat podcast with Rob and Brent and Reggie, featuring Dawson. I'm Brent.
I'm Rob.
I'm Reggie.
And I'm featuring Dawson.
What do you laughing? Are you laughing
It
because
sounded like
I went
like
really
there was a
fast?
fart in the middle.
There was a fart? Someone farted?
It sounded like that, or it was somebody's chair. No, because Rob just got a new chair. That was a fart.
It was in the middle of me talking. I'm not farting while I'm talking, I'll tell you that much.
F-A-R-T. That takes skill to do both.
I would not do that. Trust me. Not without a little in there too. But yeah, we had a lot of technical difficulties beforehand. So this episode might not be as long as it usually is because we spent about 45 minutes trying to get everyone on, trying to get everyone heard, and then we had it fixed, and then it wasn't. And yeah, now it's working, so we're doing it, but it might be shorter than it normally is. So this week we're going to talk about a Netflix original movie called The Old Guard. I believe this was Rob's pick, right? Does that sound right to you? Rob's pick, The Old Guard. But before we get there, before we do the movie news, I have a question for everyone, and I want it answered immediately. It's about what you watched this week. Spoiler alert.
What did we watch this week? Let us give
You a peek, we'll get to the news real soon. First, listen to this little tune. Give us the attention we seek while we tell you what we watched this week. Tell him, Rob. Yeah, tell him, Rob. What did you watch this week?
They dropped on Netflix season 3, Aggressive Rizuzco. I don't know if you guys have watched that.
God bless you.
It's on my
Never
queue.
heard of it.
That's a Japanese anime of like a little, I don't know, like some anime office worker.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Some Japanese anime. It's anime.
Season 3.
It's on season. You've watched 3 seasons of this, and that's the best description you could give of it.
It's like animals anthropomorphized. They're like Japanese office workers, but the main character has like a secret passion. She's into scream metal. So whenever people piss her off, she goes into the bathroom and starts singing screamo. And it's I think it's pretty funny. It's
Is there a koala on there?
No.
There's no koala?
No koala.
Oh man, I would have bet $20 there was a koala on there.
A koala?
Yeah.
I think like the main
koala.
character is like a red panda.
A panda.
And then they have like giraffes and hyenas.
A red panda's pretty close to a koala bear.
It's close, right?
Very
Right.
close.
Dawson, what'd you watch this week?
Nothing.
Bullshit.
I mean, we watched Bill and Ted last night.
I'm glad you said that because we've watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey in preparation for part 3 this Friday and our review next week. Bill and Ted Face the Music. So we're all caught up.
Outside of that, I finished High Score, that Netflix documentary.
I'm 3 episodes deep.
Yeah, it's great. It's really cool. There's a lot of behind the scenes. You see a lot of history of all the consoles and where everything's tied in. So if you've played video games, especially in growing up as a kid, 80s, 90s, you'll love it.
Have you seen The King of Kong?
No, I never watched it. It was on G4. I never watched it.
So I watched it this week. It's on YouTube. The whole movie's on YouTube. So maybe we'll watch that in a watch party or something one time. Have you guys seen that, Reggie, Rob, The King of Kong?
I have not. I've heard just about everything about it. So like I kind of felt like one of those kind of feel like you've seen it because everyone's talked about it, but
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen it.
Well,
No, I haven't seen it either.
what did you see this week, Reggie?
Actually, I watched Lucifer came out on Netflix, the part 1 of the latest season rather. I watched that, and then I watched also on Netflix the 300. I mean, not 300, the 3%. The latest season of that came out. So I just been watching television, and then I finally finished Clone Wars too. So
Yeah, nice.
yeah.
I watched episode 3 of a show, and I don't know if you guys have heard of this show before. It's called The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
You guys ever heard of
Jesus
that?
Christ, seriously?
Unbelievable.
Well, you know what? That's not good. Good.
I watched episode 3 of it. You know, a show would be better if they let J.J. Abrams do it.
No.
It would be a lot
No.
better.
It would be horrible.
You guys ready to get into some movie news?
Movie
news.
Cindy, the news is on!
Insightful.
Good news.
If the headline is big enough, it makes the news big enough.
Timely.
The news goes on for 24 hours a day.
Well prepared.
You like Huey Lewis on the news?
Well, I got some bad news for you.
Do you want the Aladdin news or the Aladdin news?
The Aladdin news?
This is movie news.
Movie news. I got it. I don't need you to. I'm a big boy. I can do my own thing. This will be quick. Like Brent said earlier, we started late, so nothing crazy. Couple big things. DC fandom happened over the last couple days here. We got a ton of new trailers, a ton of new footage from basically everything DC's throwing at us to try to keep us interested. We got the Batman trailer. We got a Black Adam concept trailer, I guess. I don't know if they just couldn't film anything. Did you not see it?
Yeah, it was just like storyboards, really.
Yeah. I think there was something they were probably going to make, but that they just didn't because of COVID.
But just wait. Don't give me storyboards.
It's what it was. I mean, it looked like it was just a cartoon. I mean, and it was The Rock's voiceover, and so that's out there. We got a trailer or a teaser for the Suicide Squad where we saw all the characters and all who's playing who. We got some more info on the Snyder Cut. We saw a new trailer for that. We also found out that's going to be an HBO Max 4-part series, I guess, instead of a movie. Or I don't know if they're going to release both options, or if it's going to take a month to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I've heard that they're doing both. That you will be able to see it in a 4-hour chunk if you decide to.
Yeah,
cool.
They're doing both. But the fact that we're getting 4 hours is just more reason to believe this is not the movie he was going to put out. This is not the Snyder Cut. This is Zack Snyder has a bunch of shit that he wants to give you. He wasn't going to make a fucking 4-hour movie. I don't need 4 hours of this shit.
I mean, maybe though, because like look at the Irishman. That was 4 hours. That was cut down some. Quentin Tarantino wanted to make Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He said there is a 4-hour cut version of that. So I don't think it's crazy to think you've got 5 huge characters who haven't had a ton of time to build up to give them more breather. Maybe it was going to be a part 1 and part 2, but maybe Warner Bros. Didn't want to do that. You don't know.
That I could believe. I could believe it was going to be a part 1, part 2, but I cannot believe that that Zack Snyder had any plans to put out a 4-hour movie of Justice League. I mean, that being said, I don't know if you guys saw the trailer, but like from what I saw, it does look like a vastly different movie than what Joss Whedon put out. Or
definitely
movie. I say movie, but well, it looks like thematically just the fact that Cyborg seems to have some sort of arc, and same thing with the Flash. It seems like it's definitely gonna be a different kind of movie.
Yeah, and I feel like that was one of my biggest complaints about Justice League is just we didn't get time to really adapt. Like, I'm not a big DC guy outside of Batman, so I don't know a ton about the Flash besides he's fast. I don't really know anything about Cyborg. So like just getting 5 minutes of backstory on them. Even Aquaman, I'm like, okay, he's cool, but I don't know enough about him to really truly care. Besides, he calls animals. So I think it'll be nice to get a deeper dive for me.
You know, I to put all my cards out there, I'm so disenfranchised with this whole thing. I feel like there's nothing they can put out that's going to please me. Like I all the time say, Reggie, that no matter what they would have put out, like you wouldn't have been happy with it, or you would have found something to be upset about. Like I feel like that's how I'm going to be with this. Like even if it's good, I'm probably not going to be happy with it because I just I don't like the idea of it. I think.
You know what I like the idea of? Let me know if you guys think this sounds interesting. What if we watch all 4 parts, and after each part, we do like intro, we do like a 10-minute section, then we do after each hour, we do a 10-minute breakdown, and then we can see where our ride goes, or do we just want to watch it and not talk about it in between? We'll table it until we have a release date.
Here's kind of to your point, Brent. I'm kind of in the same. I'm not in the same boat. I hope this is actually good. That being said, there's still a part of me that's slightly disappointed with whatever I'm going to be disappointed with whatever they put out because it's definitely not going to be a legit Snyder cut. Because it is going to be whatever. I mean, it's 4 hours, so it's obviously not going to be the movie that he put out. So even if this is like a million times better than the Justice League movie we saw, you can't really say that it would have been well received if he had been allowed to put out what he wanted to put out.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of basically where I'm at with it. I don't know. It's just there's something about it that's just not sitting well with me, and I think part of the reason I'm more upset by it is I'm gonna feel compelled, like it's necessary for me to go back and watch the other Justice League so I can compare and contrast because I don't fucking remember it because I blocked it out of my brain. So in order to be able to tell you how different it is, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that piece of shit, and I don't like that.
Well, my brother likes the Justice League, so I watch it more than I care to.
All right. All right.
I don't know
moving
how
on.
you guys are just glancing over that Batman trailer. That thing looks amazing.
I'm
does
glad
look
you
really
said that because who was it? Was it Daggard that like immediately was poo-pooing it? I'm like, dude, this looks badass. You got me more excited for it. I was already excited for it, and now I'm more excited for it.
Yeah, I'm totally excited for it. And if you, the listeners don't know Matt Reeves, the director, he's the one who did all the Planet of the Apes movies that we had not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can evoke emotion in this movie like how he did in those movies, I think we're gonna probably even have a better Batman than what Christopher Nolan gave us.
Oh,
Whoa.
whoa. That slow your roll.
Let's slow down on comparing it to Nolan because that's a tough sell for any Batman movie, in my opinion, to live up to what Nolan did. Like, I don't need it to be as good as Nolan's because that's an excellent, like, especially the first two movies are really fucking great. The Dark Knight is one of my favorites, but it did kind of dip at the end, but that trilogy as a whole is really, really good. It's like the
really
best
good.
live action Batman we've gotten by far. And I don't want to put Matt Reeves, like, I don't want to put him up to that test. Like, I don't need it to be up here. Like, something down here, I'm still going to be really happy with.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get like a darker Batman, like just having the setup that they have with the Riddler has like such like a creepy vibe to it. Like I could already tell that it's gonna be going in a direction that we haven't seen before in any of the Batman films that we've seen prior.
It did look darker than Nolan's, which is a surprise. But I mean, you got dead bodies with plastic bags over their heads and shit.
We're gonna see things about the Court of Owls. I think it is. So that's pretty dark, right, Reggie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Reggie's being awfully quiet about this.
I've only seen bits of that, like on Gotham, and then I saw this thing where they're talking about that's hidden in all there's a bunch of owls and different things in here, so we're gonna get it, I guess. But
in that, it seems like the Court of Owls is like the big thing now with DC, or at least with Batman, because the Court of Owls is going to be in the Gotham Knights video game that they're coming out with. So, you know what? I'm interested. I want to see more. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, the bad thing though about that, they've only filmed 25% of the movie, and they have an October 2021 release date. They've just started reshooting this month, so there is a possibility that they may not make their date, and it could get pushed back again.
I think barring any other shutdowns, I think they'll be fine. I think that's enough lead time for them. Since they've already started on production and everything, I think they'll be okay. And like I said, barring any potential further renovations or anything like that, like I think they'll be fine. So,
yeah, but you never know. They might have to do reshoots and post-production delays. And then also there was a leaked possibility of a second bat suit in the movie. It's from what we saw in the trailer, so that's going to be interesting.
Give me all the bat suits. Give me Mark 47.
Getting of multiples of something, we're getting 2 Joe Exotic TV shows.
Nice segue.
Which we talked
Great
about on
segue, not where I thought you were going, but great segue.
We talked about on Cutting Room Floor, so it's relevant here. You're going to get 2 TV shows. You're going to get one with starring Nicolas Cage on CBS, probably on All Access, and then you're going to get one run by Kate McKinnon on NBC's brand of networks like NBC Peacock and USA. So you're going to get two Joe Exotic TV shows in the next year. So enjoy that.
And I will watch both of them.
I don't know. I don't have no idea. I think they said scripted, so I'm guessing Nick Cage's is. They're both probably going to be.
Dude, Nick Cage is Joe Exotic? Come on.
Nick Cage is going to be Joe Exotic?
Yeah, and Kate McKinnon's going to be Carol Baskins on her show.
On her show.
So
those are both great. They should just combine
they both
them.
be on one show together?
Right.
That would be
just
amazing.
One show.
That would be great.
The Armageddon and Deep Impact comparison.
And Dante's Peak and Volcano.
Superiors.
Dante's Peak's so much better.
Yeah, so just keep an eye out for those. Can't wait to talk about that. We all love biopics, and I just saw this one, and news was kind of short, and I didn't know we were going to run out of time. So Adam Pauly's in talk to join John Belushi biopic as John Belushi. So if you don't know Adam Pauly, he's done a couple TV shows. He's been in a couple movies. He does a cameo in The Mandalorian, but
I do not know him.
Happy Endings. He was on the TV show Happy Endings.
No.
Great like sitcom a couple years ago. Only got a couple seasons, but one I really enjoyed. So he's a good actor. He's funny. I like him. And he looks kind of like a young John Belushi. That's why they're going for him. But and last news, I get to go see a new movie next week. A new release, not something that's on video on demand. Yep, I got one more after that. I get to go see Tenet next week at a drive-in movie theater. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll give you guys a quick movie review on VentChat when that returns. But
no. Oh,
it's happening.
Oh, I want a quick movie review.
You know what sucks about that is like it's only happening in certain drive-ins, and like you can't find out if it's a drive-in near you. Like,
yeah,
I want to see a drive-in.
The weird one with mine is it's not a traditional drive-in. It's an independent movie theater that put a 70-foot screen on the outside of their building because they're like, we don't feel comfortable opening up. So they've been running old movies for the last couple weeks. They're doing Bill and Ted tomorrow night or this weekend, and then the new one, and then Tenet next week. So they're going to start picking up. They initially told me that Warner Brothers wanted way too much to play it. Their demands were crazy, so they weren't going to do it. I think either there wasn't enough demand at theaters or they worked out a different deal, but it's like 24 hours later, they're like, yeah, it's on. You can buy tickets now. So it might start popping up more across the place, drive-ins if we see it, but yeah.
Well, I have 2 drive-in theaters within 30 minutes of me, so I'm keeping my eyes open to see if it hits either one of those. And if it does, I will go see it as well. But that's the only way. Debating. I'm not going to a theater.
I was going to rent out a room with a couple people, do a private screening at a movie theater for like $100, but this is I haven't done. I wanted to do the drive-in for a while. Cool. So I'll also let you guys know how good it is. And the very last piece, Disney is going in and they're recasting their next animated film, Raya and the Last Dragon. They pulled off the original lead. She's done some voiceover work some voice work for Rick and Morty, and they're replacing her with Kelly Marie Tran from Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Well, sort of from Star Wars. Briefly in Star Wars.
Briefly in the last Rise of Skywalker.
So their new movie Raya and the Last Dragon is one of the new. I believe it's is
that Disney Plus?
Are they doing animated, or is it going to be like? I don't know. If it's going to be.
I've never heard of it, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything. I think the only thing I've seen was just like at one of their Disney Celebration events. They showed the title of it, but I've never seen any footage. Yeah, it's a historic move according to this article. They're recast. She's the first Southeast Asian to lead a Disney animated film. So that'll be cool. It's written by Adele Lim from Crazy Rich Asians.
Nice.
Directed by Don Hall, who did Big Hero 6. So, yeah, it's
I am happy to see her getting more work. Whenever stuff happens to people like it happened to her, you always worry that they're going to fade off into the sunset, never to be seen or heard from again. It's kind of the way of Hollywood, typically. So it's good to see her getting more work. It's an animated Disney thing, so we probably won't review it, but maybe you guys should watch it whenever it comes out.
We know why she was
why they recast?
Yeah,
I don't know.
If anything, I would imagine it's because the original voice actress is white.
Okay.
A white woman. It doesn't say for exactly why. It just says they decided to recast, and it was originally set to be voiced by Cassie Steele, but the filmmakers and studio have chosen to adjust their vision, bringing Tran as the lead star, joining the previously cast Aquafina, who is starring as the dragon in human form named Sisu.
I like me some Aquafina.
Me too.
So yeah, it's gonna be an emotional storytelling journey, fantasy. So yeah, it'll be there. If anything, I imagine that's why. But
it's animated and it has a dragon in it. Ugh.
I know when I saw that, my first thought was like, oh, it's like a Mulan type movie with Mushu and.
I mean, it sounds like it a little bit.
I don't know anything else about it, so there's a girl and a dragon. So.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
I have a daughter, 2 daughters. I'm sure I'll see it when it comes out.
Yeah, I know that's probably the way it's going to be. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about before we move on to our feature presentation?
Is there a question of the week?
You know what?
I see that in the notes section.
It's the question of the week. Your answers we seek. Question of the week. Movies.
Thank you for that. We do have a question of the week, but before we get to that question of the week, we have a response from our last question of the week, which was, if you were going to direct a movie, who would you have cameo in your movie? And this comes from Constancio D. And he says, longtime patron, Constancio, he's fantastic. He said, I would have a scene where Elijah Wood and Daniel Radcliffe are fighting with each other because people mistake them for each other, trying to make the other change their look. So you'd have a movie with Daniel Radcliffe where Elijah Wood comes in to fight Daniel Radcliffe, to make Daniel Radcliffe do something to make himself look different so that people don't confuse them.
Face off.
And he says, also, I used to think that Helen Hunt and Jodie Foster were the same person. So that's interesting.
I used to think that Kevin Bacon and Bon Jovi were the same person, and when Bon Jovi wanted to act, he went by Kevin Bacon.
Wow. I used to get Dylan McDermott and Dermot Mulroney confused with each other. That's the only one I can think of right now. Sting and Fake Sting. NWO Sting. Got them confused a couple times.
Kevin Diesel and Fake Diesel.
Yeah.
Razor Ramon, and Fake Undertaker.
Razor Ramon and Fake Razor Ramon.
Kane and Dr. Yankum.
That one gets me every time, man.
Every time.
All right, so now we have to find our question of the week this week, which comes from the app Ask the Internet. And we're going to go to the TV, movies, and games, and we will find a question. What TV character or movie character, since we're a movie podcast, what movie character, we'll do that, most represents you? So if you had to pick a character out of a movie that represents you, who is it? Mine is a vaguely nerdy guy, right?
Given.
Let's see. What about Jesse from the first Fast and the Furious movie? Yeah, kind of a weird nerd. Yeah, the mechanic guy. You know, he puts the floppy disk into the thing. He races Johnny Tran for pink slips, and he loses the race, and he runs off, and then he gets shot. You know, that guy.
Yeah, I know who he is. I don't think you fit that character.
Oh, you got a better one, Rob?
Not at this moment.
You gotta think fast on your feet, man. Come on.
Oof. Oh, this is tough.
I got one. Randy from Scream.
Maybe.
You know? He was a virgin through part of the way in high school, as was I. Loves movies, knows all the rules to movies, gets mad at people whenever they don't understand how movies work. Probably didn't like people talking during the movie behind him at the movie theater. Worked at a movie rental place. You know, the more and more that I go about this, I was in the friend zone with several ladies, like he was with Sydney. You know, I mean, come on, you were all in the friend zone at one point or another, especially like high school age, probably. Whether you want to admit, don't shake your head, Dawson. Mr. I was a fucking lacrosse player.
I didn't say that at all.
If I was gonna be a character in a movie, I would be what's his name from Oz from American Pie.
Stifler. I was Stifler. Okay.
You're Stifler.
Who was a big screw up until the end, and then everybody liked him because he came in and saved the day, and he tried to help out.
You also drank jizz at a party once.
It was his own though. No, it wasn't. It was his friends. Ew. He got peed on the same party. There you go, Rob.
Come on, Rob. Reggie, someone.
I don't know. Like, that's someone I'd have to think about. Like, who am I? It's a weird question.
Yeah, it is a weird question. Yeah, we're gonna have to get back to you on that one.
Like, yeah, I mean,
just oh my god.
Off the top of my head, I'm thinking. I don't know, like Roman from Fast and the Furious. No, not Roman. Tej.
You the tech mechanic guy?
Yeah. Or you know what? From the Goonies.
Chunk.
No. The Asian kid.
Data.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
Dad,
you set yourself up for that one.
Yeah.
Do the truffle shuffle, bitch.
Like somebody geeky, but like. So yeah.
Let's see. Rob can be the fuck. I had something and it escaped me. Rob would be Steve Buscemi's character from whatever show that is, where he walks up with the skateboard. He's like, "Hello, fellow kids." I don't know, Rob. You really don't have anything. All right, Rob's not playing along. Feature presentation time.
Adam Sandler in all of his movies.
Like maybe
I think we should get these questions before the show, so
Little
we
Nicky.
have time to think about them.
No, that's the whole point. You got to think fast on your feet. It's rapid fire.
Look how great it worked this time.
You got a good one. I like
you. Know who comes to mind is Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd is an actor, not a character.
He's a person.
Yeah.
All of them.
All right, the character he plays in Ghostbusters.
Which one is that, Dawson?
Ray. Do,
right.
Ray, Egon.
Okay, so that's Rob. That's what Rob is. All right, feature presentation time.
And now, our feature presentation.
The Old Guard, a Netflix original movie directed by Gina Prince Bythewood, written by Greg Rucka, starring Charlize Theron, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and a lot of people that I've never seen, heard of, or recognized their names. So yeah, it's a two-person show, and you don't know anyone else. Maybe you do. You know what? I saw this Marwan Kenzari guy. He was Jafar in the new Aladdin movie.
Yeah.
So I did recognize him, but I could not have even begun to have told you what his name was. And this movie follows a team of mercenaries who are the Old Guard. They are immortals, and there's a new immortal that is discovered. Will she join the team? Will she not? I don't know. You have to watch the movie to find out. It's on Netflix. I had not seen this before we watched it for the watch party. Dawson had not seen it before we watched on the watch party. Rob picked it. Reggie had already seen it. Reggie did not show up for the watch party. So Reggie, let's start with Rob. Rob, why did you pick The Old Guard?
It was like a new release on Netflix. There was like pretty much nothing else to watch. So I had watched it. And then I thought, this is pretty good. It gives me like a Highlander vibe to it. And I like Charlize Theron and a lot of things that she does. So I thought I'd give it a shot. And, when I watched this, I kept thinking, it feels like they're setting up a series. Like we could possibly get a series out of this. But I don't know if that's actually in the works, or I don't know. Do you guys think that could be a possibility? This could be like the new Highlander for the new millennium?
Well, Rob, it is funny that you do say that, because this Old Guard was based off of a graphic novel, which was released into 4 parts, 4 issues. And Netflix has already started the sequel, and it's signed on contracts with the main character. So we're going to at least get a part 2, potentially 3 and 4.
That's a fact.
You think the Charlize Theron and is going to make a comeback?
Yeah, it says. I read about it, that they have at least a second one is already in Netflix pipeline with signed contracts by all the main characters. So she's back.
Really?
So yeah,
I would have thought that she would not be back for another one.
No.
Why? You think she's well?
I don't know. I just feel like I feel like it wouldn't be something she would come back to. I don't know. I guess Netflix is paying a lot of money. Excuse me?
Fun little fact. Charlize Theron, she actually read about this Old Guard comic for the first time while she was filming Atomic Blonde, and she's like, that's a character I could do.
That's a fact.
So, I love Highlander, the series. My favorite Highlander is the series with Duncan MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. And I did get some similar vibes to that series in this movie. And I'll just tell you, from a high level, there's a lot that I like about this. It is a little too long for what they do. Like, it doesn't need to be as long as it is. In fact, I would say you can cut the entire last 10 minutes off the end of it, It's like a second and third ending that it doesn't really need. But I dig the story. I like they throw a couple of wrinkles into it, so it's not just like standard Immortal stuff. I like that. It sort of changes it up a little bit. I like the dynamic between the new Immortal and the old Immortals. You know, like just imagine one day you die, but you don't die because you find out you're immortal. Imagine that happening and how much like that would fuck you up. So I like seeing her experience that and go through that. There's a lot of things they did with it that I enjoyed. Also, the action is badass. And there's swords and guns and axes and everything I love about an action movie. It's all there for me. So yeah, I mean, from a high level, I really enjoyed this. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. But it was a fun. It was a fun movie. It was fun, and if a Netflix movie can deliver fun to me and like enjoyment while watching it, it's all I really need. This was a lot more fun to me than Project Power. If I'm comparing the two, I like this better.
Me too.
So. Yeah, samey. I watching this movie, I was like, it is a damn shame that we don't have, that Charlize Theron doesn't have her own like action franchise, like a John Wick or something like that, because like the action in it is like amazing, and I don't know if you guys have seen any of the like some of the behind the scenes stuff. It's like she did like legit training to do this, and it's like it's just kind of like it's amazing that we don't have that kind of thing from her yet, you know. And then it's even sucks even more that she's not going to be doing Furiosa, you know, that they decided to go a different way with that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is she the best female action star of all time?
That's not
yes, because she can act. Because you know, like there aren't that many female action stars, and when you think of them, like I'm thinking Kate Beckinsale and like Mila Jovovich, you know, and you know Charlize Theron beats all of them out, blows all of them out of the water.
Not only is she a better actress, you know, Academy Award-winning actress, I would argue that she pulls off the physicality of it better than the rest of them as well.
Yeah.
Like, we have a hard time. We always talk about, like, who are the best male action stars. And, you know, there's always a debate on who they are. I think for actresses, I think there is no debate. I think you'd have a hard time convincing anyone that there's another one that's better than her all around as an action star.
Would it help? Would it make you feel any better or worse knowing that she did most of her own stunts in this movie?
Isn't that crazy?
And that's a fact.
That's a fact.
Along with most of the main actors did their own stunts, but you hate Tom Cruise for that. So,
well, she didn't do anything crazy.
I mean, but she did stunts.
But my problem with Tom Cruise is he's like hanging off of a helicopter and like jumping down to a thing of boxes from a helicopter, or doing a fucking skydive with the cameraman, or jumping from building to building and breaking his leg. My problem with him is not that he does like sorry, I got my hands up, I don't know what to do. My problem with him is not that he does his fucking fight scenes. My problem with him is he needs to be a daredevil whenever he's making a movie. She didn't do any
going to outer space, okay?
Death-defying stunts. Like, I'm not against actors doing their own stunts. I'm against actors doing their own, like, objectively unsafe practices with stunts.
Okay, I'm just saying, she was doing her own stunts. It's a fact.
It was I played it. I played it already. That's how I draw the distinction. Because Tom Cruise is really the only guy that's doing that shit. Like, nobody else is that selfish. He just wants to feed his ego and get his little adrenaline kick. It's not really about making the movie better. At least in my opinion.
I don't know. Like, one could argue that was one of the problems with Gemini Man is that Will Smith wanted to, instead of giving like a stunt double, Will Smith wanted to play both roles.
That is not the problem with Gemini Man. There are a lot of problems with Gemini Man. That is not the problem with that movie. Yeah. But no, I dug it. I really, as far as Netflix movies go, like, this was really, really fun. I'm not over the moon about it, but I dug it. Like I said, as soon as they first of all, going into this, I didn't know they were immortal. I guess if I had thought about the old guard, like the title of it, it might have given me some reason to think that. But I went into this not knowing. And then, spoiler alert, like very, very early on, they all get fucking shot up. Like, I was like, holy shit, what is going on here? But then you find out they're immortal and they're rolling around with swords on their back and shit. Like, they're getting out of the helicopter. I'm like, does she have a sword on her back? Because this movie just got kicked up a notch for me, if that's a fucking sword.
Yeah, it was like, you weren't expecting that. Like, what the hell are they doing with swords and axes?
Yeah, they look like just your average, like, military
like
mercenary crew that's gonna drop in with their, AR-15s. Or I'm not a gun guy. I don't know. That's been in the news. I don't know if you guys know. Just drop in with their military guns and shoot some people up. But then she's rolling around with an axe on her back. Like, all right, that's what I'm talking about. I'm in. I'm fucking in.
Did you know that those weapons have meaning to their characters? Did you know that?
I did not know that. Do you know
like
the meaning?
Andy's axe is over 2,000 years old, but it's an ancient axe. Middle Eastern Joe uses a medieval war scimitar. Italian Nicky uses a medieval one-handed sword, both from the 11th century. They met in the Crusades. Come on, you didn't pick up on all this stuff from the weapons?
No, I did not. And you know what?
That's a fact.
There's a lot more, but I don't want to bore you with going over all of this information.
You don't want to give me all the facts. If you gave me all of the facts, I would probably be sitting here like.
Can we delete that already?
No.
If I have to delete that, I'm gonna find something way worse. Is this better?
Okay. Yeah, here, because I have to tell you, here we go. Rockin' body, pretty face, attitude bigger than the San Andres. It's troubling when she's rumbling. So.
Is that better?
Yeah, I'd rather have that.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
All right, see you later.
So Rob, you hadn't seen this before you picked it?
No, I saw it before I picked it. That's why I picked it.
Okay. Well, earlier you made it sound like you hadn't seen it whenever you picked it. That's all.
No. I even mentioned it on the podcast that I watched it the week it came out. As what I watched that week. I'll be right out.
What the fuck was that?
What was
People just honking horns over there?
Uber Eats here?
Dawson, give me something other than a fact. Give me like your opinion on something.
No, I mean I enjoyed this movie. It was fine. Action was good. It I also agree it ran a little long. I fell asleep watching it because I'm like, I think this is over. I think it's wrapping up now. I told you that in the watch party. And then I was like, there's like 40 minutes left. I'm not going to make it the whole way. So yeah, no, it was good. I went back and watched it again, just the parts that I missed out on. But yeah, it was fine.
Dude, no joke. It gets to the end of the movie and like the logical ending for the movie, and I hovered my mouse over to look at the time left, there was 18 minutes left.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
18 minutes. Now, granted, we found out later that 10 minutes of that was the fucking credits. You got 10 minutes of credits on this movie? I don't even think Endgame had that long of a credit. Fucking 10 minutes. But yeah, it ends, and it has a satisfying ending, and then they have like 2 more endings on top of it that are not really necessary, setting up potential sequels. But I don't think you really need that. I mean, if you're going to do like a short tag, I don't need 8 minutes of like, you you chose poorly, basically. Whatever, everyone already knows that. I don't know. I didn't care for that, but as Rob would say, depacing a little bit off with some parts of this movie.
Well, yeah, like I mentioned, it definitely like went into the character development a little bit longer than necessary, and I think it did so, just like I mentioned and you guys mentioned that they're kind of like setting up either for a sequel or a series or something. I thought it was like they were setting up like a Netflix series, like a mini series or whatever. But I guess they're just gonna do sequels.
They accomplished a lot in 2 hours. I will say that.
They did. I'll say this for this movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did like it. But I agree. I think there were pacing issues. And I feel like this is a movie that they went in with the intention of making something, like continuing on. Instead of just making a standalone movie on its own, they wanted to set up a world so that they could do more with it. Like a great example, Iron Man 2. Like, one of the things that people kind of complain about that movie is like it felt more like it was setting up like the Avengers in the Marvel universe, because there are just moments where they're just talking about things and you're like, okay, I know that's gonna be a callback, like, I don't know, a TV series down the road or something. And that's kind of how I felt with this. Like, it was enjoyable. I loved it. I want more, but it felt like a 2-hour-long pilot as opposed to like a movie.
Oh, for sure. For sure. This, everything about this screams series to me. And I'm not talking like series of movies. Like, this is set up to be, a 10 episode arc per season. Like, they could easily do that. You can introduce, it's the sort of dynamic where you could introduce characters in very easily. You could almost do like Monster of the Week style.
Yeah.
With this. So yeah, I think it would do very well in that format, actually. Better than it would as a series of movies.
Yeah, I would love to see a TV series. I mean, will I watch more movies? Of course. But like, I think that this would be a great television series. Especially with the way that they ended it, because like, I just feel like, I don't know, 10 hours of this would be a better way to tell a story than another 2-hour movie where it's like, I don't know. It feels like, for me, I like my movies, with the except, like, I get that trilogies are all connected, but I kind of like it when a movie can stand on its own. You know, like, I think even some of the best trilogies, those movies can kind of stand on their own. Like, you can kind of hop in. And then, like, I think if the first Star Wars movie you saw was Empire Strikes Back, I think that you could hop in there and still follow along, and it's still a rewarding experience.
Or The Last Jedi.
And right.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah,
no, I get you. I agree with you. I don't love whenever movies aren't self-contained. The sole exception to that is, for whatever reason, the MCU, because they've done such a good job of building up this whole wealth of story, that I'm fine if if I know that that's going to get continued on in another piece. For some reason, I give them that benefit just because they've done such a good job in building everything around everything else. Everything's, nothing's really insulated in that franchise.
But to that point, I think for the most part, a lot of the MCU movies are kind of standalone, with the exception of like the obvious exceptions like Endgame and Infinity War, But like, I think a lot of those movies, especially their solo movies, like you only have to have seen their solo movies to understand what's going on and to enjoy it. Like you don't have to come into those movies, and that's what I think is the brilliance of MCU movies, is that you don't have to have seen everything to understand and enjoy what you're about to sit down and watch.
No, and I don't think that them setting up things for future movies in this inhibits your enjoyment of this movie. So
Right.
That's not the criticism I'm giving. The criticism that I would give would be like you said with Iron Man 2. Like Iron Man 2 is a self-contained story, but there's pieces of it that that they're using to set up down the road for other movies. I want to ask you all something else. Netflix as a studio. It's not really a traditional studio format because they've historically given directors a lot of leeway to make the movies that they want to make. They haven't really messed with it too much, but it does seem like a lot of Netflix series and movies have the inclusion of gay characters. I've sort of seen that in a lot of their stuff, and I don't know if that's a conscious decision to get more homosexual characters into media on Netflix's part, or if it's just a happy accident. But I wasn't surprised whenever two of these characters wound up being gay and being in a relationship with each other. Have you guys heard anything about, like, is that something Netflix has made sort of a mission? Or is it just...
I think that's... Well, I don't know if that's a mission of theirs or not, but it seems like... Well, from what I understand, that was kind of from the source material. So, yeah, I think they were just being true. Because, like, one of the things, like, I think the director fought to kind of get that speech in. That speech that he gives, because it's like, I mean, honestly, it's one of the best.
It's great.
Yeah, it's the best speech about what love means and everything. So that was kind of awesome. And it's like, yeah. But to your point, I don't know. I think you're just seeing more inclusion around all over. Like inclusivity is just in now. So I don't think that they're trying to force it in, or if they're trying to... I think if that was the case, they would try to highlight it more, because, like, for instance, Marvel was like, hey, look, in Infinity War there's a gay character, and it was some guy at a support group, and people were like, come on, that don't really count. Or how what's her name with Harry Potter is like, hey, this character was gay and this character is gay, and it's like, you didn't show it, you're telling us now. So I think what we're just saying is that when you have more voices and a more variety of story makers and content creators, then you get to see more walks of life.
I think that could also be the case that you have a studio that's not really meddling as much in productions and decision making as the other studios typically do.
Yeah.
So it has its positives and negatives. Like you said, like Netflix, sort of with the big directors, we've seen that they sort of let them make the most them movie that they could possibly make, like the most Scorsese movie you've ever seen in your life. So they're not there to rein people in whenever they maybe need to, but you also get sort of things that people want to do that can wind up being positives also, which I think is really nice. I don't know if that's the case, or if I'm just noticing it more in Netflix stuff than I do everywhere else. But like you said, you just gave a couple of examples of people that were touting it, where it was like, okay, well, you're not really doing it. So what are we doing here? I don't know. It was just something that I observed and something I've been noticing as I watch Netflix stuff. It does seem to be a theme that keeps appearing in their stuff. Anything else? Like I said, this is a little bit of a shorter episode than typical because we got started so late. But anything else before we go to our scores?
Just really quick, I want to throw this one on just because as we're talking about inclusion, right? This movie had a $70 million budget, and with it, the director of this movie, she's black, right? So this is the first black woman to direct a big budget comic book movie. So I think that was cool. If we're talking about inclusion and keep everything in, like that's great. I mean, that's just wanted to put it out there because we're talking about inclusion and change and Netflix doing more, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I didn't know. I'd never heard of her.
She's only done a couple, like mostly TV shows. I think I haven't seen. I didn't even know the director's name before we did the show really tonight. I didn't really look into it. But I'm looking through the IMDb and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
She's written some movies. In fact, she's written this Love and Basketball, which I have the Blu-ray sitting on my desk. I'm not gonna. The background's kind of messing it up, but I just so happen to have like a movie that she wrote sitting on my desk by chance.
The Secret Life of Bees. I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
that came out in 2018. She was
familiar
on that too.
Yeah, she's done a lot of TV. Like she did an episode of Cloak and Dagger. She directed Love and Basketball. No shit. Writer and director. Look at that. Big fan of her work, Didn't know her name. But yeah. No, it's good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's get to our scores. Rob's going to go last because it's his movie. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I watched this movie and I was like, this is a good movie. I want more. I love the action. I do think that there are pacing issues. Like the plot kind of meanders a bit. And really the bad guy is just stupid. Like I never need to see another corporate stooge or pharmaceutical company bad guy again, because you get to a point where it's like these people the old guard are going up against people that aren't a threat to them. So there's a bit they do something special with it to make a threat appear. But that being said, like I still enjoyed it and I want more. And I watched this and was like, it's a damn shame that we don't have more Charlize Theron action flicks. And I want more. I want an Atomic Blonde series. So I'll give this a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. I'm sort of right there with you. I agree with you on the villain, but that being said, I really wanted something terrible to happen to that villain. He was just smarmy, and I wanted his head on a silver platter, basically. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing then. I will say, the movie's not perfect. It has issues with the pacing. It has a villain that I don't really care about. Like Chiwetel Ejiofor is not really the main villain. But I like what he does. He doesn't get to do enough. So I would honestly like to see that character develop more in the movies going forward. But the crew, I like the crew. I like Charlize Theron. She's great. This movie is a lot of fun, but it's not great. It's not perfect. It's if I had gone to the theater to see it, I would have sort of been like, that was all right. It was okay. But it's a Netflix movie, and Netflix movies get a little bit of a bump. But this is like a quintessential 7, I think. It's not great. It's not bad. I had fun with it. It's good. I like it. I'll watch more of it. 7 sort of become a joke over the years to us, but I think that this is a legitimate 7. So that's where I'm going with it. Dawson?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. This is a 7. I liked it more than Project Power. Story was good. Characters were fun. Villain could have been better. You guys nailed it, right? That's a 7.
Swords and axes.
Swords and axes.
All right, Rob, take us home.
All right, everybody. Yeah, I enjoyed the film. I think that it could have used a little bit of editing to clean up the pacing. But all in all, it was action-packed. It was something different. And I think for a Netflix movie, it was pretty good. And I was entertained. And I do think that we're probably going to get some more of this. And I do look forward to seeing Charlize Theron reprise her role. And on that note, I'm also going to give this movie a 7 out of 10.
Oh, Reggie, would you like to amend your score?
I mean, yes. Let's go 7.
Yes!
7's all around.
Yes!
We did it. The quintessential 7.
It is the perfect 7. All right, well, join us next week for a movie that is sure to be less than a 7. Bill and Ted.
So?
Dude, having watched those first 2 movies, I don't know what they can do now that's going to please people in today's.
Look how far Keanu's come.
He looks old as fuck.
Yeah, he
looks so old in this. But yeah, we're gonna watch it. Well, we'll already have watched it by the time this comes out. Mm-hmm. But we'll be reviewing it next week. So check it out. It's $25 on VOD, but it's not a rental. You own it. So do you want to own Bill and Ted Face the Music? Yeah.
Okay.
So now I own Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Or go see it in your local theater.
Yeah, I mean,
they're open.
They are open, and there are movies. There are people, Reggie. We didn't even talk about this, Reggie. There are people watching the New Mutants right now.
Oh yeah,
it's out. It released. It's out. People are watching it. What do you have to say for yourself?
I haven't seen it in theaters, so I don't know. I have to assume that the world is not lying to me. So I will assume that it's finally out 4 years after they filmed it. I'm happy for them.
I bet you're happy for them. All right.
I'm disappointed that I don't get to see it.
Not only is it out, but it's under the official Marvel banner and not the Fox Marvel banner.
I hear Rob. So it's official Marvel movie, huh?
Correct.
Interesting stuff. It's gonna tie in. Get ready for it. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
You don't need to follow me. You don't need to follow anybody.
But you can follow us. I'm Brent, and I am
X, not Malcolm.
And he's Rob, and he's
Rob 1.
There's also Reggie, who is
Hit on.
We can't forget about Dawson at
Andy!
_. Dawson.
Don't forget to follow the podcast at CinemaChat Pod on Twitter. And check out our website, cinemachatpodcast.podbean.com.
I'm following you now. I'm just going to follow you everywhere. I'm just going to follow you the rest of my life.
Thanks, Peter. Now, if the rest of you would get off your ass and follow us, that would be great.
Mail, motherfucker!
Oh, and don't forget to send your emails to cinemachatpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Please, send us something. Have a good week, everyone. Goodbye. Rob, you in a hurry to turn off your camera?
Yeah, I'm getting sleepy.
He's getting sleepy.
Sleepy Rob. Sleepy Rob.
Sleepy Weepy.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.